Hello, once again. Thank you for attending. This is Si-Wing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network, and my podcast partner, mostly on a weekly basis, is no other than Mr. Richard Advani of Supreme Lending, a leading investment loan consultant nationwide, helping investors to finance their purchases in all 50 states. And also he does financing for regular folks, local primary owner occupied buyers. He does refinancing, he does everything. So he's a great staff working with him, and we've been talking about that. And he's an awesome consultant. He has helped many of our network members over the years to finance purchases in the market that we serve. And he has done a great job, provide outstanding service. He gets a lot of referrals, a lot of testimonies on the great loans that he does. And his staff is tremendous in client service, follow up, and the whole 9 yards. So what more can you ask for of a loan consultant? So am I right, Richard? Anyway, all right. So so the topic we can discuss. Let me share my screen. All right. So just follow me. It should not take more than a mere 30 minutes. So let me share my screen. And so I don't know who you are. Many of you know who is this guy, and of course, I'm a sports fanatic. I follow sports for many decades, mainly basketball, football. Mainly basketball, football, and sometimes other sports like soccer. And this picture you're seeing, his name is, I think they pronounce Lionel Messi, but I call him Lionel. The Lionel Choo-Choo Train Messi. He's from Argentina. He's a world-class, one of the legendary soccer players in the past 10 years. He's the top 2 or 3 legendary soccer players in history, as a matter of fact. So why am I talking to him? Okay, he's one of the greatest scorer. He scored more goals than anybody else that I in the past 10 years. Amazing, legendary. I just obviously he's a superstar. He makes about, I think, $40 million a year. I mean, he gets paid like $2 or $3 million per game. Why am I using him as a sports analogy for you real estate investors? The reason why, I just did a bit of research. Don't quote me. I mean, I don't have all the complete data, which is not surprising. So, a soccer game usually take about 90 minutes, right? An hour and a half, right? And what I found out about him is, do you know that during the course of a game, I think he jog and run for a mere around 10 minutes. The rest of the soccer game, each game he plays all his career, the rest of the time he walk. During a game, he walk 95% of the time and he run 5% of the time. And yet he scored more goals than anybody in the history of the sports nation and internationally, World Cup, whatever, right? And he's famous for a lot of reasons. So what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is he's working smart. He's not working hard. I'm not against working hard. We all, successful people always work hard, but he works smart. And he's so efficient, right? He knows how to use his time in a very efficient manner. He's so successful, making tons of money, so popular among the world. So what I'm trying to say is, as a real estate investor, you need to copy his blueprint. You need to work smart, not necessarily hard. You need to economize. You need to surround yourself with a team, right? And so that's what we do, all right? I mean, as a real estate investment club, I've been doing it for many years. Before we go any further, not just on using this sports figure. We can use any other professional athletes, famous athletes, for example, Michael Jordan or Steph Curry or Tom Brady in football or whoever, in other professional athletes, the superstars. Okay, in fact, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. When you watch any kind of sports, at the end of a game, I want you to look at an interview. I mean, just watch an interview, how these superstars respond to a question. My takeaway over the years as I watched, really superstars of a particular sport, the way they answer question. I mean, they talk about, oh, we win as a team. We are focused. We set a goal, right? We whatever pass is past. If you have a bad game, you just ignore it and move forward and focus on the present moment. First, focus on the end goal and don't give up. You gotta work hard. You gotta educate yourself. You gotta continue to get better, right? Continue to get better. Work on your weaknesses and don't lose faith in yourself. Have confidence. Commit to your goal. Don't let other people put you down. Just focus on your goal, your energy, have a positive attitude, and shoot for your goal and the end goal. That's most important. So that's my takeaway. So before I go any further with this topic, Richard, do you have any additional thing you wish to share about the analogy I just described?
No, not tons, but basically, as you kind of said, working smarter and not harder is very important. Messi obviously conserves all of his energy for the time when he really needs it, and he's strategic about where he expels that energy, which kind of leads me to I get asked very often from investors. Sometimes even investors referred from you, and they're like, well, I may also. I like what Seawing's doing and I like the properties, but I may try to do it on my own. Maybe I can get a better deal. And all of them end up coming back a month later, basically complaining about how crazy the market is, how they're one of 60 offers. They can't even get agents on the phone. And how much effort and energy they put into it. And this analogy is great because they all come to the realization that if they can be a little more strategic in trying to acquire properties. For example, obviously with your group, you work with people that have an allocation for your group. They're working directly with the builder, the developer. So although sometimes you may need to wait a couple months or a little longer to have your property ready to close, you're not waiting in line and battling hundreds of people on, just to not get a property at the end of the day. And of course, prices and everything are pre-negotiated. So be like Messi. Don't go try to do it on your own. Conserve your energy. Be strategic in your acquisitions as well, because that is the proven formula.
Yep, Richard. Very well thought out. Okay, now the next thing I want to say is now I'm going to show you. Some of you asking, as a risk investor, what is my criteria? What's the best chance to succeed? Well, I'm gonna give you a very narrow, specific criteria and focus of what kind of properties to buy. So again, if you want to massively mitigate your risk, nothing 100% guarantee, as you know, no one have a crystal ball, but I'm gonna say this for the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna share with you the best way you could achieve success buying turnkey properties in a way that we do it. Okay, so now one thing is buy in the best area with the highest cash flow and appreciation, and with the least amount of headache. Okay, with the least amount of stress, meaning the lowest vacancy possible, the lowest with the tenant chances of messing up your property is very, very slim. And also with as much turnkey, as much little to become as passive as possible. You don't have to do any kind of labor, no physical labor, no nothing, just work smart. And just make it like an autopilot, right? I mean, just let other people do all the work for you. So with that in mind, so the kind of property you should buy is of course, you have to find he's the kind of the best tenant possible. The best tenant in a property is a single family home, cookie cutter, single family home, residential investing, around 3 bedroom, 2 bath minimum, right? And in a growing market, in a sun belt area, warm weather area, with a A to B school district, A to B neighborhood, emerging neighborhood in the suburbs. As with a pandemic situation and the people working remotely, this game changer. So people are moving into the suburbs of a major metro. So that's the location that we're looking for new builds or resales. Pretty new homes if it's not a new build. Area with no state income tax, preferably area with very high job and population growth, and a lot of in-migration, people migrating from out of state in a different part of the country into the particular area in question. And let me see what else. So, and of course, good rental market and job growth. And so specifically, the single family home price point you should pursue is around the high 200s to no, the price should not be higher than 350,000, the highest point. And then the rent, listen to this, the tenant that have the ability to pay you anywhere from $2,000 to $2,400 per month will be ideal. Find a property at 350K, from 280 to 350K, find a renter that have the ability to pay you $2,000 per month rent or $2,400. So you asking yourself, what a renter that have the ability to pay you that amount of money monthly, usually they're making like 75,000 or more per year salary, 75,000 to 100,000. That's so that is the criteria. So you ask yourself, wow, if those tenants are making so much money per month, 75K to 100K, why are they renting? Why are they paying you? I mean, where I can find all these renters? Trust me, my research in doing this for a very long time, helping out-of-state investors to buy turnkey properties. There are many renters, not only now, but moving forward in the future, have the ability to pay you $2,000, $2,400 to buy these kind of properties. As a matter of fact, when Richard does the loan, with investors will tell Richard what kind of properties they are buying. Richard, our investors are telling Richard as a loan agent, about the cash flow, the numbers, everything else. So Richard totally understand that. So Richard, what are your thoughts about what I just said? I mean, the very narrow criteria: best appreciation potential, best cash flow, best tenant, best market, least amount of stress, all the whole 9 yards. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously, that's the dream scenario, is checking all those boxes. The good thing is, with where price ranges are on most of these properties, as you said, generally in the high 200s to low 300s, typically you are buying in a decent area that's going to attract that good tenant with low turnover, that's going to be, stress-free, and that's going to make you more money at the end of the day. So, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that. And given the types of properties that you're working with in a lot of these markets, all of those things are going to, organically and naturally happen. You're buying that higher end, upper level of blue collar, white collar type homes now. And that is going to make for a more fluid experience overall. And then one thing people need to keep in mind too is, like you said, rents are going to catch up over time. We've seen it a lot. Properties that, we bought 5 years ago, that were renting for $1,450 today are renting for $1,750. And they had good cash flow back then at $1,450, but I mean, the cash flow's doubled now. The ROI is doubled now, in addition to obviously property values going up. And with inflation, that's really where you build the wealth, in my opinion. And, you know, properties today that you're buying that rent for $1,700 that are, you know, costing 250, 300 grand, that may not be making tons of cash flow. You know, I can tell you, especially with inflation, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years down the road, those rents are going to go up. And that's the part where you start building wealth, right? You buy it based on good fundamentals. And then when what naturally happens with inflation and everything else happens in the world, at that point, that's where your, you know, wealth starts building exponentially with the increased rents, with the increase in equity as well.
Yep, absolutely, Richard. So with that in mind, you know, investors, you know, that's the beauty of becoming a free member of my investment club. In that, we have done most of the research for you. So I'm gonna save you a lot of stress and effort. I mean, our areas that we are targeting is let me share the screen here before I'll go over this pro forma. The areas we're buying that fits this criteria are in Las Vegas, in North Carolina, Raleigh-Charlotte, in Texas, outside Austin Metro, out like 30 miles away from the Austin Metro. Yes, and even in San Antonio, we see something like that. And also Southwest Florida, Cape Coral and Cape Coral Metro. And then finally, Central Florida. So these markets that we have been targeting and these markets that we are seeing, you know, all the best case scenario that will make you extremely successful if you could you know, pull the trigger. So let me share with you, you know, we only have like 7 more minutes, okay? I wanna keep this presentation short so you can focus on this presentation. So I'm giving you a typical pro forma, you know, cash flow analysis, if you will. We have done, you know, I have videos on how to calculate, you know, the numbers, cap rate and rent to value and ROI and all those kind of things. But I will really cover the big picture. So this is a typical property that you can buy, $330,000 right here, all right? And down payment, you know, not all of you can qualify, you know, to come up with $71,000 down payment for a 20% down payment, right? But many of you do, who does, so that's good. So you're 20% down. So the rent is $2,250, okay, $330K. So you you know, subtract all the monthly debt obligations, taxes, insurance, property management fee, 5% vacancy and what have you. And then as you can see, I'm gonna scroll up here. And then it shows at the end of the day, well, you can get 80% mortgage, which Richard Advani's company will be glad to get you the financing, which is critical. And because the interest rate at a historical high, around 3.6% for investment loans, which is absolutely amazing. That can allow your mortgage payment to be fairly low, right? So it'll improve your cash flow. At the end of the day, I mean, you're getting a 20% down payment. You're getting a net monthly cash flow of approximately $324. So that's pretty darn good. All right, that's the best you can expect. And rent to value ratio, 0.7% or 1%. Capitalization rate 5.5, which is good. Cash on cash return 8%, and then return on investment is 36%. Now this is total ROI is very important. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on the numbers, but total how I come up with this 36%. Let me share that with you. Okay, if your net monthly cash flow is 324, right? Your annual cash flow is almost 4,000, and a 5% appreciation at the end of the first year, which is very conservative these days. Plus the principal reduction, 5% of the appreciation at the end of the first year is 16,500 in equity gain, plus the annual cash flow, plus the principal reduction. Your total net gain on paper at the end of the year, first year, is around 25,000, right? 25,000 divided by your total down payment of 71,000, and at the end of the first year, you're getting a whopping 36% return on your investment. All right, so I will stop sharing, get back to our review and summary of this presentation. So that's all the numbers you should expect. We just show you clearly, Richard and I, about the the highest, best possible situation for you if you can afford it. And some, still, Richard has been working with several of our investors that are doing this. I think people who are really motivated. Some of our investors have like $1 million of cash. A couple of them have about $500,000 in cash, and they doing financing. They doing 20% down payment to buy these type of properties, right? Exact criteria which I have painted for you. Once again, this is not the only strategy. There are many different ways to buy investment properties. I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm just specifically, precisely define to you a very narrow criteria, which if some of you really see, the value of using this very unique strategy, someone see and you have the money to do it, you have the courage and to pull the trigger, you qualify, and you can get the loan through Richard. So Richard, is that true or not? I mean, you're going to cost a handful of my investors exactly doing this kind of a portfolio acquisition on this good market, in this kind of property, in this kind of cash flow. Not only my investors, you're working with other investors, or similarly from other investment clubs throughout California as well. They're doing this more and more these days. Am I right or wrong? What have you been your personal experience with doing loans with investment lately? Investment loans.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say a good percentage of our clients do have the ability to purchase these properties in cash. But the beauty of real estate is really built through your ability to leverage. There's very few investments that you can buy the whole investment with just putting 20% down, right? Which means you can buy 5 properties instead of 1. And over the course of time, you're going to see quite a bit. You're going to participate in the growth of all of those assets. So, leverage is beautiful, especially when, it's a 30-year fix and the rates are secure. So as your cash flow goes up, as your rents go up, obviously your monthly payment on your mortgage is going to stay the same. So, yeah, I mean, the wealthiest people in the world have mortgages and take mortgages, even if they don't need to, because it's part of strategy and wealth planning to leverage debt, not only to offset income and for tax benefits, but also because that's where the magic happens with real estate, is with the power of leverage.
Yep, exactly. So the next step is, as you know, once again, we have those very same criteria existing in our network markets, our team that are working in those markets. They've been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years. So they know where to pick the property, where to find the tenant. We have property management, the whole, one-stop shop in place in all those sub-markets that we talk about: Vegas, North Carolina, Texas, and Florida, and even Alabama up and coming as well. So nice portfolio acquisition. So the first step for you guys, whether you are my member or from anybody out there in a YouTube world, I've been doing a lot of YouTube videos. Contact me, right? So I can do a phone consultation or Zoom consultation with you to go over your goals and objectives. Then the second step is very clear. You have to get loan pre-approval as an investor. So Richard Advani and his team, Supreme Lending, is the primary loan consultant that we use to get yourself loan pre-approval. Because if you do not have advanced loan pre-approval, my team, my network partners in those markets, they're not going to talk to you, right? They are selling properties so quickly. They're so limited inventory, even for investors, all right, for you. So limited inventory, you've been hearing about that, I mean, tremendous demand, for real estate these days, and low inventory, multiple offers, but dealing with us, you don't have to deal with multiple offers. You know that. So first step, consult with me, and then we get to know each other. We have a critical relationship. Then consult with Richard Advani and his team at Supreme Lending, get the loan pre-approval. Then after that, I mean, it's a systematic step. Then you decide which area you want to you buy your first properties, and our team on those market will help you step by step, walk you through everything. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much, Richard, for your value knowledge again, and thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Have a nice day. This is Siwing Yi from Yi Real Estate Network. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.